Nicole here with Job Hunt Solutions, and in today's video we're going to look at conducting company research for your job search. There's a variety of information that's available to you on the internet for conducting your company research. The first spot to go to, of course, would be the company website. On many company websites, there'll be a section called About Us, and in that particular section you'll likely find information on the company's mission, vision, and values. This is really good information to have, not only for writing your resume and covering letter, but also in preparing you for your interview. Many company websites will also have a news section as well, and in the news section they'll likely highlight a lot of news articles about the organization that really highlight some of their key accomplishments. If an organization that you're targeting is publicly traded, then they'll likely have an investor relations page or something similar to that. This is where they'll have a lot of their financial information, typically in quarterly reports or annual reports. I would recommend going through such reports not only to look at some of their financials and how they've performed year over year or quarter over quarter, but also to see if there are any developments that they're calling out in such reports. So anything from a merger and acquisition to a key investment. And finally, usually on a company website, you're going to find information on the key people within the organization. So if they have a board of directors, they might list who some of the board of directors are, as well as the CEO or any other executives on their team. In a job interview, it's usually a good idea to know the president's name and what they're all about. Now, aside from going through a company's website, I'd also recommend going through the organization's social media pages. So if they have presence on Twitter, taking a look at what sort of tweets they're sending out, and even the tweets of the key people within the organization who we would have looked up on the company website. In addition, see if they have a Facebook page or check them out on LinkedIn as well. And what does the LinkedIn company page look like? There might be some other key pieces of information that'll help you out in your research. Of course, another wonderful resource for you during your research is your own network. So while you're on LinkedIn, not only can you look up the people who are maybe the key people within the organization, but also the people with whom you may be interviewing. You can see on LinkedIn if you have any common connections, or if you know of anybody who currently works at or used to work for the organization. Never be afraid to reach out to your network, just to sort of tap them on the shoulder to see if they have any insights that they can share with you about the organization. Fourth wonderful resource would be review sites. So I've mentioned Glassdoor before. That's a wonderful resource when you can see feedback that people would have provided on their experience with an organization. So whether that be former employees or people who have interviewed at the company. Checking out other forums of different websites such as job boards or salary.com may also provide a little bit more insight in terms of people's experiences with the organization, especially those who have interviewed with the company. Now keep in mind, with some of the reviews, I would take that more or less with a grain of salt. Typically, people will post more negative reviews than positive reviews about organizations and their experience. That said, it's still worth just taking a quick look to see what you might be getting yourself into. Number 5 on my list would be Google, and specifically Google News. You can set up alerts on Google as well, so right from the time that you're starting to write your resume or covering letter to apply to the role, if you have Google News alerts set, then you'll be getting up-to-date news articles about the organization right up until the time that you go to interview with them. This helps to ensure that the information you have is as current as possible. Now, one more thing to keep in mind while you're looking at your research and keeping everything all together, it doesn't stop before you walk into the interview. You can use the interview itself as a way for you to gather information as well. The information that you'd be gathering in the interview, of course, would be more on the culture of the organization and what sort of a fit you think the company would have for you. So make note of things like how you were greeted at the reception area. How much buzz is there within the office, and do people seem to congregate together and enjoy each other's company? So you can really get a sense or a vibe from an organization just by going to their office and attending the interview. Now, once you've done all of the research on the actual organization, Another thing to do would be take a quick look at some of their competitors. You may not need to go as deep in terms of your research, but it's still a good idea to see what sort of news articles are about the competition. How does the competition view themselves in relation to the overall competitive landscape? This will help you maintain a bit of a balanced view about your target organization. And finally, try to do some industry research. Industry research can take a great deal of time and effort, but it would be worth it in the end, especially if you're targeting several companies within the same industry. Some different resources that would be available to you would be industry association websites, government websites such as census information, or National Occupation Code information. And if you're a student or have access to the Mergent online database, it's a fantastic resource as well. But if you don't have access to that particular database, the marketresearch.com website is a really fantastic resource as well, just to conduct some general industry research. So pulling it all together, now that you've done all of this wonderful research, what do you do with it? Well, my recommendation would be to organize it. And one of my favorite tools is a SWOT analysis. If you're not familiar with that, it's really not nearly as scary as it may sound. But SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I've got some more information in the description below on how to conduct a SWOT analysis, but basically it's just taking a look at some of the positives and negatives for the company itself as well as the overall industry and competitive landscape. One other wonderful resource that you can look at is SlideShare. Now SlideShare could help you with the research we've already talked about, but sometimes you'll see on SlideShare people would have done these SWOT analysis on the organization or the industry or sometimes the competitors of the target organization. So taking a look at SlideShare and just typing in the company name or the industry name, you'd be surprised at what information you might come up with. So one final thought on the research piece. As much as you want to take the opportunity in an interview to showcase this hard work that you've done and the amount of thought that you've put into the interview and the organization, it's important to stay positive. So as an example, if you found out through your research that an organization has decided to sell off a division of the company, instead of saying something like, "I noticed you sold off ABC division, what's up with that?" you can put a positive spin on it and say, "I've noticed that you've decided to get rid of ABC division. That's really intriguing. Can you tell me more about that decision?" That just sounds a lot more positive as opposed to automatically putting the interviewer on the defensive. So there you have it. Hopefully with all of your wonderful research that you're doing and maintaining that positive attitude, you'll be able to put your best foot forward in your interview and nail the job. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, of course, press like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any other tips and hints on how to do company research, please leave them in the comment section below. If you have any questions about this or any other topic related to job search, please feel free to reach out to me. Or if you have any other video ideas or would like to collaborate with me, I'd love to hear from you. You can of course reach me on email, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatever works for you. And for personalized advice, come on over to my website and I'd be happy to help. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, happy hunting!